Title race, which isn't over yet, and here's Vincent Kompany thanking the fans as City complete their final home game of the season, and they did it in style thanks to him, a man who served this club so well in over a decade. How fitting that it should be him that found the breakthrough when the going was tough for Manchester City against the Leicester City side, who proved so stubborn tonight. What a moment for him. But they do have one more game. That's Brighton this coming Sunday, in the Premier League's final day. But they know a win there, and they will be champions again. Yep, Daddy was a hero tonight. Just extraordinary, a moment that he will never forget. And no one's going anywhere. They're stunned, I think, in disbelief and excitement. Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville has rejoined us. What was it like when that goal went in? It's an extraordinary moment, Gary.
I was in this stadium when the Aguero goal went in, and obviously for these fans out here, it can never get any better than that, but that's just run it very close. Kompany's a City hero. A giant at this club, has been for 10 years. He's someone I think everybody looks up to and respects. If you think of Aguero, Silva, Kompany, you couldn't speak highly enough about them as fellow professionals. We're ex-football players now, but you think about how they carry themselves, they're absolutely fantastic in terms of the way in which they represent football in general. Kompany's outstanding on the pitch, outstanding off the pitch. What he's just done tonight, though, is another level. That's another level. You could have thought of a million ways that this football game would have been decided tonight, and that wouldn't have been one of them.
I think a lot of City fans were probably saying, don't shoot. A lot of Leicester fans, Liverpool fans watching at home were saying, go on, shoot. And couldn't believe it when he actually did, and we saw the result.
Yeah, I mentioned Chowdhury in the first half of the positions he was taking on, but he done it really well in the second half, and you just think how deep he is there. See, he goes back with Sale and he goes back. I just think they allow him to take that extra touch. I thought he was going to hit it a little bit earlier than that. He's going to go now. But see, he just takes that extra touch because obviously there's space to go into, but I mean, that is going to be one of the iconic moments of the season if City do the job. In fact, I think that will be the iconic moment, because it was looking like at one stage it could be in Liverpool's hands, really, and then that man, as Gary's just mentioned, I mean, it's difficult to talk about the City players of the era of when they first won under Mancini. And I always talk about who's the greatest City player, really. I always go with David Silva, but I mean, it must be a toss-up between the two of them, really, of him and what those players have done, what they've given, not just to Man City, but to the Premier League also.
You can't separate Aguero, Silva and Kompany for City and what they've done. You can't. I mean, they've been absolutely outstanding, consistent performers, week in, week out, year on year, and they're winning titles. And what he's just done tonight, though, I mean, that was a crowd that I called in the first half eager. It was getting desperate. It was getting desperate out there for those fans. They recognised that this was an uncomfortable experience, and for him to step up in that moment and deliver is...
It's the quality of the shot as well, though, Gary.
I said, imagine the coaches at the end of training say, who's staying out for some shots. It won't be him. He'll be on the massage bed, and he'll not know where that's come from himself. It's just sometimes it's a once in a lifetime thing. If
that goes flying over the bar, I'm sure you'd come in on commentary saying this is a sign Man City getting desperate in some ways, because just before that there was a couple of shots, there was a passes going out to play. That thing that gets the crowd sort of on edge. Even as players, you think, oh. And if he'd have hit that up, I think Kyle Walker hit one in the first half. Went miles over the bar in the first 10 minutes. It looked a stupid thing to do, really. But
well,
when that happens...
For a bit of context, it is the first goal he's ever scored from outside the box. It's his first for Manchester City, the first shot on target that he's had from outside the box for City since 2013.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime moment. This is not just a once-in-a-lifetime goal. Jamie's just said that it's an iconic moment of this season. This is one of the iconic moments that we've seen in the last 20-odd years of the Premier League. That's an unbelievable one, because it's just who scored it. Because of who scored it. You think of Tony Adams running through, don't you, all those years ago. You think of Steve Bruce's goal. You think of that goal, you can put them in the same bucket. We've seen an iconic moment here in the last 20 odd years of the Premier League. You know, I was in the stadium that day when Steve Bruce scored against Sheffield Wednesday. I was on the receiving end of Tony Adams' goal when he scored against Everton on the last day of the season. I was here in this stadium, unfortunately, for the Aguero goal, but that moment will live long in the memory. The only one thing I would say is there is one more game to go, so he still has to finish the job off. But there was 20 minutes to go on the clock, and I was going to say, Vincent Kompany, you dancer. But I thought it's a little bit too early for me to go with that line, so I held it back.
Do you think it is still a bit too early?
It's still a bit too early because we keep saying we can't.
That feels like
it does feel like the moment. Is it possible that both teams are going to win 14 games and the Liverpool have won 10? It's ridiculous what these teams are doing. That was big pressure out there tonight, big tension. Felt like you're in a real game, like a real moment, and. You thought Leicester could counter-attack at any time, you thought they could potentially get a chance at any time. City was struggling a little bit, and we've just seen, like I say, an amazing moment.
I think with that win in the field inside the stadium now, you'd have to do with Devon Loch, wouldn't it? Man City, I think, in the game.
He's trying to crack the pressure already, isn't he?
Put that everywhere you want. Everywhere, all over social media, Devon Loch.
Just have a listen to this at full time. This is Sergio Aguero. Hear what he had to say here. I tell you, Vinny, don't shoot.
I said that in the commentary. The Leicester players will have been saying, shoot, don't play another pass. And he shot.
But do you think the Leicester defenders thought that was impossible as well when he achieved? Because they didn't really try and close him down.
It's just, if you think about Manchester City, you're thinking, the best that you can do is, they're going to have possession. Leave the centre-backs on it. That's the best you can do. You talk about Chowdhury going back with Raheem Sterling. If Chowdhury comes out too early and he just slips a pass into Raheem Sterling, you'd say, why didn't you just stay Raheem Sterling? He's the danger. So he's the one you'd want on the ball. Laporte's probably, Vincent Kompany's very good on the ball, by the way. His passing was excellent tonight. But Laporte's better on the ball than Vincent Kompany. So in that team, he is probably the most limited on the ball. And that's saying something because he's a really good centre-back on the ball, but he is the most limited. They're all of them so comfortable on it.
We'll never know, but do you think without that spectacular moment, Leicester might have got through? Or did it feel like something?
They did. That Iheanacho's chance was unbelievable, Dave. Iheanacho's chance. It's gilt-edged. He's got the whole goal to put it into. I know that Ederson's moving out towards him, but they did get through.
I just felt what Leicester in the second half, and even at times of first half.
But this is it, Jamie. Here,
this is the one chance. Don't get me wrong.
It's a massive chance.
Oh no!
It's not just one chance. It's the chance.
Well, because we were saying all night in here, Gary, when is Jamie Vardy going to get a chance? Is Jamie Vardy going to get a chance? He didn't. Did it fall to the wrong man?
I thought Leicester I thought they were very good tonight, and everything we said, how you have to play against City, being brave on the ball, taking the ball. I just think the one thing that let them down was that it almost became like a training session. You know, they'd be just happy to keep the ball. Because sometimes you're playing big away games, and when you get a bit of the ball, you're almost like... You can't believe you're keeping the ball off a top team away from home. And I just felt that too often they were happy to go back to the goalkeeper instead of maybe making that penetrating pass. I was surprised Maddison come off, I must say that. You know, the changes that got made, you had to try and get back into the game. But I think I thought it was a brilliant performance. I think the setup from Brendan Rodgers, how they nullified Manchester City in different ways, and to lose with an unbelievable goal. But that was just the one little thing looking at them. I think they could have penetrated a little bit more and tried to use Jamie Vardy a little bit more. It's
something that happens against City. I said it in commentary, the same thing. I just felt I was seeing far too many passes back the way rather than punching through. But sometimes Guardiola's teams can do that to you. In the first half, when they have more energy in the legs, Tielemans and Maddison can get into those pockets. They've got a bit more sort of, like I say, energy just to be able to get forward quicker and support Vardy and get into their positions. When you've been defending that many times and you've had that many switches of play and you're shifting your legs across like this all the time, it gets to the point that when you're on the ball, then players just don't quite get into their attacking positions that they should be in. You think of a shape for defending. You need a shape in your team when you're attacking to be able to play from, and they just couldn't get into their shape enough in the second half.
Well, the stadium has emptied. The fleet of Moes have started their work. We've seen the last football here at the Etihad this season, and the players have gone back inside. after their lap of appreciation. And when we come back, we will hear from the man of the moment, the man who might well have delivered the title to Manchester City again. Vincent Kompany coming next.